Hello and welcome. I'm Stephen Englander, as always, and you're watching my live show on a Thursday. It's 7 o'clock. Graham, I want to thank you for joining us today and doing all the fabulous research you've done, because I know you've been very ill. I know that you were so ill today and you were so concerned that you might have COVID that you actually went for a COVID test, didn't you?
Well, yeah, I mean...
And you passed it.
I passed the test.
So,
yeah.
Which is great, because you don't often hear that, do you? But you see, I do want to... I know that you've been in a lot of suffering, you've been in a lot of pain,
Yes.
been running to the loo, all sorts of things. I'm going to get that window fixed.
A lot of detail, but you know.
Yeah, okay, yeah. But I just it's great when you know you've got an allergy to onions and you know it makes you ill, but you go and eat the onions. I'm impressed. So you went for the COVID test and all you had was an allergic reaction because you stuffed onions down your face. But well done. Anyway, look, a little bit of good news, because
No right to reply there, then.
Do you want to reply?
No.
Okay. Do you want an onion?
No.
Do you want an onion bhaji? We've got some in the back. So people are returning to shops, aren't they? I was reading today, people are going back to the shops. In fact, I think the supermarkets are reporting that for the first time in a while that online sales are dropping and shop sales are going up. I don't know if that's a mixed blessing. I don't know if it's good or a bad thing. What I do know is I've been spouting for a long time now that people should get their online platform sorted so they can sell online. You know, and I know that COVID sort of proved that those people that could supply online were going to survive and prosper a lot better than those that don't. So I don't want people to sit back on the laurels and think, well, things are going back to normal, because they're not yet, but things are going back to normal. Therefore, I can keep my shops open. I don't need to worry about this online crap. But it's not, because, you know, if you've made some headway online, then push forward, because you've got a much bigger audience out there. So you might as well go for that. And so do keep up the pressure on selling online and delivering and all this, because even though there might be a blip with people running back to the shops, it's not going to last. And people were struggling a little bit before COVID. So use the momentum to keep going with online sales. By all means, open the shop doors as well. You know, there's no problem with that. Talking about people returning to work, talking about people going shopping again, people are now going back to work. And we're struggling employing people. People don't seem to want to go back to work. I know we've got a couple of vacancies going and we're just not finding suitable people at the moment. I hear from clients all the time, not just in the leisure industry, that there are problems with people, employing people. So just bear in mind, all these people out there that are thinking that the furlough and all the other grants are going to last forever. They're really not. And the people that are getting the jobs now are going to be first in line, because don't come banging on the door when when furlough finishes and you've got you're finding that you're last in the queue for jobs, because, you know, go now. If you see a job advertised, then go for it. Don't wait for it to finish. It is a problem, Graham, and I know. I know you were saying something about it before, but what do you call them, lazy bums?
Yeah. You know, it's interesting. My brother got furloughed and he got back in work as soon as humanly possible.
But you should get the businesses open quickly. Get in there. Get. If you're looking for a job market, looking for new opportunities, don't just hang back thinking that furlough's going to go. You're
always better working. Always.
Oh well, there's more to work than just making a living, isn't there? There's you know, I like working. Don't forget again that all those people who are back at work and the businesses are growing that have taken advantage of the VAT breaks, because they're not. When the VAT said you can suspend the payment, it doesn't mean say you don't have to pay it. And I know my staff have had a few surprise clients that, you know, you've got to pay it. It was a holiday from it. You don't get away with paying it. And the VAT, what they're allowing you to do is pay back every month. So you know, don't get into the trap of thinking you don't have to pay it back, because then you will have problems. If you are having difficulty paying the VAT, even on the instalment plan, do go ahead and contact them. And sorry.
Could you idiotise this, please? So
How?
What's going on with the VAT? I don't understand. Well, why would someone not be paying it?
Well, when COVID first hit, HMRC said to people, look, put in your VAT returns as usual, but if you haven't got the money to pay it, you don't have to pay it until next year.
Right.
Next year's now happened, and what HMRC are now saying is that, okay, you owe us this money. We don't have to have it back in a single lump. You can pay us off over 12 months.
Well, they only opened up last week, didn't they? So it's not like...
They're always open for money. Night and day, they're open for money.
No, I mean businesses, though. You know,
well,
it's not like you've got...
No, a lot of businesses have been trading. It's only the retail-facing ones with shop fronts and the leisure and tourism that really have had the main trouble. But going above that, just to answer your question, that the people out there that owe money, even though they're allowed to pay it back in instalments, they have to pay it back. And we've had a few people today surprised that they have to make these payments instalments. So if you're still struggling and you're not able to make the instalments, don't sit on it, because your time for sitting on it is past now, and you've got to now, go to HMRC and just tell them, if you can't pay it, then throw yourself at their mercy. And
so is this one of them where they are expecting the amount split into 12 over 12 months?
Pretty much.
It's not like you could just do 6 months and then 6 months.
Well, you can, not really, no.
Right.
But go and speak to them. That's the worst thing you can ever do with a creditor, not just HMRC, but with anyone you owe money to. The worst thing you can ever do is ignore them, because then it just gets worse and worse and worse. And you know what it's like. If people owe you money, you want it, and if they're ignoring you, it's like, right, let's get the courts going, let's get this going, let's get the bailiffs out there. But it's just you've got to pay it, so make provision to pay it. And if you're really struggling, then you can always give me a ring, and we'll look at other options for you. But mainly, the worst thing to do is not to pay it, and then ignore HMRC as well, because then you'll have unpleasantness, and we don't want unpleasantness. Don't forget also that your fifth grant for self-employed people, you can start claiming it after the 7th of July. So another month, but then you can make that claim. We've had today some people upset because they forgot to make the claim. Even though we remind people, they forgot to make the claim, and a couple of people have missed out on it. But so don't forget that you can't claim before the 7th of July, but after that you can claim your self-employment grant, which is only for self-employed people. And also remember, there's still options to claim for the business rates relief on various different premises that you've got. So do try and claim for everything. I mean, it's why not? The government get it back in one way or another anyway. But it's been interesting. We've got on an upside, we have 770,000 new companies formed so far this year, which is probably a record. So that's a lot of businesses opening this year. I mean, I don't know what the net increase is, because there's a lot of companies closing down and have closed down, but we don't know those figures. I don't know what the net increase is, but it's not a difficult one to work out.
I was super hype about this, wasn't I? I was like,
you were
nearly, there's 750,000. You're like, how many have closed though? And it's like, well, they're not even publishing that at the moment.
Well, a lot of them could be people that have closed and then opened up again.
Yes.
Is
that because they're crooked?
No, I've never met a crook. I'm just
asking.
Yep, no.
Because there was all that.
We live in different worlds.
There was a pizza place in the Northern Quarter that closed, and people were like, "Oh, this is horrific," and it's reopened again already. It's all the same furniture and everything.
Well, I think a lot of people panic. I think a lot of people think, right, I've seen people do it. Say, I've had enough. I'm giving up. I don't need this crap, and they close down, and then things start going back to normal. They start seeing some. I mean, we do. A lot of people don't realise, but we actually help people sometimes when they have got debt and they have got problems. So we do work with people with debt problems, businesses with debt problems, and you do get some that panic. And it's one we've been working with the last couple of days that have panicked. They're in the leisure industry, they've got a hotel, and it just went dead. So they just shut up shop, they closed. But now that they're beginning to see, they're getting people phoning for bookings, and things are going back to normal. So they open up again. There's a bit of everything there. Does that, So as long as the pub's reopen, you're okay there, aren't you?
Do you know what? I very rarely go to the pub. And I won't be going to that new pizza place either, because it's vegan. And I'm like, no, come on, give me the options. I don't mind
like vegan food.
I don't mind vegan options. I think that's fantastic, but not a vegan pizza place. Have you seen the size of it?
I'm not. I don't understand vegan. My sister's become vegan.
Never, ever.
Vegan. Vegan. It seems a waste of time. I don't know. I think I need the meat with the 2 veg. I've always been partial to that. I just, I'm not a vegetarian. But good on those that are. I should be a vegetarian. I shouldn't eat meat. I mean, I was with a doctor a while ago, and he says, I wouldn't bet on you living more than 8 months.
Yes.
In fact, he said, I wouldn't bet on you living more than 18 months if you don't lose weight. And he said, but then again, I won't take the bet of you living more than 8 months. He really had a go at me. So I've lost 1.5 stone.
Yeah.
And I've had my hair done to match.
I know. I didn't. I intentionally haven't mentioned your hair all day because I was leaving it for the show. And
well, you're too busy on the loose, stinking out my toilets, weren't you? So
I was going to say, I like it. You look very smart.
Thank you very much. I'll take that in the spirit that's intended.
And you know what? You know what? He's acting the big man, mocking me here. Stephen made me a coffee today.
I did.
With his own hands.
I did.
Yeah.
I felt so bad for you.
So
I did. And besides that, I did not want you making anything for me. Right. Okay. IKEA. That's one of your favourite stores, isn't it? Do you know what my favourite thing about IKEA is? I love the meatballs. I don't know if that means anything, but I do. I used to go there and just have a plate of meatballs.
Everyone likes the meatballs. I don't know what it is about
But do you know what they're doing now? I've loved the way these big firms always come up with some great ideas, but you just know there's such catches behind it. I just don't trust them. But they're offering, they're often say, if you bring your old furniture back, preferably in good condition, they'll give you a voucher for it, and you can spend it in IKEA or Part X. I think that's, on the surface of it, it's a great idea. It's good for the environment, the reusing stuff, the recirculating stuff, and it's a good idea in general. But personally, I never trust the motives of any big firm, and I think it's just a big publicity stunt. I don't think they're losing any. They'll probably put the prices up to compensate for the stuff coming back in because, profit's always the motive, as it should be a motive, but not the total.
This was the cold, hard truth because obviously the BBC, everyone's been giving them write-ups, like, bring it back, we'll give you vouchers.
It's great publicity.
Free publicity.
Yeah.
It's all right if you're one of the big boys, isn't it? Because you can just you can say, oh, we'll give you a discount, and suddenly the BBC are putting you on the front page.
Well, I don't find their stuff particularly good quality,
it doesn't last very long.
No, and I think when you look at some of the prices, because it's quite hidden, you're drawn in by a £10 chair, but really when you start looking at the prices of the good stuff, you might as well go to a more established, proper high street firm. But you know what's upsetting though? I've hardly got any clients left that had furniture shops. Years ago, I used to have loads. They've all gone. I think it's a shame because you've got less variety and less choice. And I think one thing that I will say now is that there's some amazing furniture manufacturers all over the world. And if you go online and concentrate on marketing, you don't need a massive warehouse to stock all the furniture. You can have it imported straight from anywhere in the world, straight to the client. So you just got to get good at marketing and get a good website. And you can have a really good quality firm, a really good quality website selling everything, every type of furniture. I mean, I always say you should specialise, but you can get some really good stuff. If anybody wants some addresses for some manufacturers in China, let me know. I've got loads. But if you want to look it up, there's a place called Guangzhou that is like got this furniture city that you drive. When I was driving down there years ago, it took us an hour and a half. It was about 90 miles on both sides of factories making furniture. They call the whole place Furniture City. But you can get lots of stuff like that. And it could be a good way of selling product without actually having a shop. Because one of the problems that furniture companies have is that they need to show a reasonable range, but they've got a problem because warehousing is so expensive. They've got big stores. So it's not like you can open up a small 1,000 square foot unit and have even a showroom. So online is the best way to sell furniture. And all the big firms, they are moving a lot online. I know for a fact that through COVID, some of the big furniture stores sold an awful lot of stock online. They had to, so it proves it can be done. So anyone wants to open a furniture store, or they've got a furniture store, or they've got any big capital item, have a chat with me. I can show you how to really grow that with very little money.
Yeah, I don't
know anything about it.
I don't know where my end tables come from. I just go on a website and I click a button. It comes from wherever at a certain time. It doesn't make
years ago, it's kind of 18 years ago, I was actually in China. We'd gone on a buying trip with some clients to introduce them to people, and I saw this absolutely beautiful desk. It was a big desk, and it had a big metal lion face on the front. It had all leather inserts, and that desk at the time over here, something very, very similar, was about £4,000, and I paid £100 for it. And I was with two of the guys from the office, and they had to buy one each as well.
How did you get it back?
We just shipped it in. It cost us about £50 to ship it in. You know, I've bought all sorts of things. I bought a shower system. I bought a bath. I bought this big jacuzzi bath, because it's when you're buying little bits, then the shipping can ruin the price. But the perceived value of a lot of things like baths and showers and even building materials, as long as it's not too heavy, there's an immense amount of profit on it even now. So it is just a case of I wouldn't recommend someone that if they've got a news agent and they know nothing about furniture to suddenly decide to open a furniture business. But if you sort of like understand capital items and big products, and I can even introduce people to finance companies that will offer finance to their customers, so they can do things on interest-free credit, that type of thing, and pay over a certain amount of time. But I'm going back to the furniture idea, but it'd be great if you saw more people out there competing with people like IKEA, and I just think there's a lot more scope for people if they actually embrace the internet and not worry too much about bricks and mortar shops.
Can I just give a shout out to Plain Comedy? It's watching us live there.
I was going to do that.
Oh, all right. I didn't know you'd seen it.
No, go ahead.
No. All right.
Go ahead.
Hiya, you all right?
After the show, after me, we've got a lineup of entertainment. We've got my show, which is informative and interesting and full of sagacious wit. But we also have, straight after the show, we've got Lorraine Robinson and Colin Manford in their Plain Comedy. And they're actually giving away a free holiday to New York. We should do that, shouldn't we? I'm not going to, but we should do that.
Just a coffee machine.
You know,
we
could sign up as a client with Accounts Direct, and we'll send you to New York. What do you reckon? We'll have to weigh up how much we're going to earn on people.
I know. Yeah.
But then of course at 10 o'clock we've got Trigger Warning with our favourite anarchist, Hayden Hewitt. So you know we're building a good live show on a Thursday night, but we want to do more than that, don't we? Because we want to start our live events. So we've got loads of ideas with live events, and what we're saying now is that we're going to do our first tester, like a live meeting. So you come down to my studio, come down to my office. It's on, what date did we decide? It was sometime in June, wasn't it?
We're looking at June, yeah.
June. So we just have a fun night, because
let's lock in the legal side of it before we give them.
Well, COVID.
Late June, though. Yeah, mid to late June.
Okay, and we'll send everyone details of it. We'd like you to come, like to meet up. We'll have questions. We'll talk about making tax digital. So exciting. We'll talk about improving business, setting up in business. You can just ask questions. We can have a chat about what's going on in the world. An extension of this live show, but live. So people come in, and we'll film it, and we'll have a bit of fun. We'll put some sandwiches out. Are we going to put alcohol out? We might put a bottle of wine out. So
single bottle, yeah.
No, it'd be great. The only thing I'm saying is that if you're not in business or you're not intending to set up in business, you're not invited. But do come along. Everybody can come except for you, Chris. There you go. Anyway, so that's we did. What did we say? The 7th of June. It'll be a Monday evening. But let me know if you've got any ideas. And but it's something we are going to start doing. War with France, eh? We've got a war with France going on.
Yes, finally.
They're back down now. It's all about fish and chips, isn't it? Have you ever had fish and chips in France?
No, I wouldn't dream of it.
No. It's nothing like English fish and chips. Funny enough, do you ever watch TikTok?
No. You keep sending me TikToks as well. I do. And I can't open them. I can't open them because I don't have TikTok.
Well, I like TikTok. No, but what was funny, I was watching it the other night, and a client was on it. A client, he's called Carl. He owns a company called Tony's Chippy. He makes great fish and chips, and he's just doing all these things where he's sort of like he puts some fish and chips in a batter, or he put a chip butty in a batter and fried it, and it looked quite nice. I quite fancy that myself. But it's great. I don't know why more clients aren't embracing things like TikTok, that they can do quick, like 20, 30-second videos of themselves doing something. I find it quite appealing.
You can go crazy viral on TikTok still. Yeah. Really, really viral.
Yeah. Well, you know a bit, and even though you've not got TikTok, you know about the machinations of how it works to make people money.
So I got to ask you, actually, you know, you're talking about fish and chips and fried sandwiches and stuff.
Yeah.
You know, you're on your diet at the moment. Is there a certain point where you've reached a certain weight or whatever, or a certain fitness where you're finally going to have that meal? And if it is, what is it?
I'm several stone past that. Oh. Do you know, I got up to, can you believe it, 16 stone 11 I got to. And I'm just not tall enough, not big enough to
You're
carry
not tall enough to carry that weight, I agree.
And, you know, it doesn't do your heart very much good. And,
I'm not either. I'm not saying I am.
Yeah. A lot of it with me was muscle.
Yeah. Yeah, to carry the weight.
Yeah, muscle in my head.
But what's your meal going to be, though? Your dream meal?
Well, my dream meal is...
the one when you're finally allowed to eat like a normal meal.
Well, I love Indian food. I love Chinese food. I love... if it's bad for you, I like it.
So you might have an Indian Chinese night and have
just everything. Yeah, I'd go back to normal basically.
Just for one night.
Yeah. Well, why one night? Why? Anyway, look, we're going.
I'm just saying.
No, food. It's terrible. I've got such a terrible attitude towards food. Always have.
Yeah.
You know, anything is just. You know, I've had celery sticks all day. Ugh. Just.
I've seen. Yeah.
I know. I've been here.
Caviar.
Yeah.
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 It's an interesting combination. Do you think we should be boycotting France then? Is that a move forward?
This is because of the fish wars, isn't it?
Because of them fishing in our waters again.
I'm not sure whether the fish wars is a reason to boycott France. I don't think we need a reason to boycott France.
They did threaten to cut the power off from Jersey. Yeah. Which was a bit of a, you know...
What's in Jersey? You got lots of sheep and tax evaders. So what do we care?
And fish administration, apparently.
Yeah, but no one pays any tax in there. They all take the money out of here and go and live in Jersey. So, you know, they don't need accountants, so there's no use to us.
Oh, if they don't need... if they're not in our business, then...
They don't even travel. They don't do anything.
Do everything then.
Well, I don't know. I think maybe it could be a car park for the Isle of Man. I don't know. But France, you know... I don't watch these things because it's all so petty. So I mean, what's your take on France with this?
I'm just enjoying the memes about going to war with them, really. I think it's hilarious.
Going to war with France.
I don't think anything's going to come of it. You know, we sent the warships and the French boats went away, and it's just a mess. But it's a storm in a teacup, you know.
Yeah, I don't know. Do you have a picture? Where's the picture gone?
Oh, there we go. Yeah, sorry.
I've got to tell you, do your job.
Oh,
honestly,
my God.
You're just proving Hayden right all the time. Look, we're trying to be witty, and you've not even done it. So the whole joke's gone to kaput.
There's your legs.
Yeah. Have you ever been to France?
I have. Yeah, I had a great time. Yeah.
I've got a couple of French clients. In fact, I phoned one just before the show to see how rude we could be about France, and maybe he could come in and be rude about France as well. But he didn't answer.
Really?
So
do you know what they call us?
Go on.
They call us roast beef, and they say it in English like that. They don't say roast beef in French. They say the English word roast beef when they talk about us.
Don't understand.
That's their slang for us because apparently, well, for hundreds of years, that's the only thing we could really cook very well.
Didn't know that.
Our food was such a joke that we became known as, you know, the way we talk about them. We go frog's legs, they go roast beef.
Oh, didn't know we had that. And I know the great British fish and chips, but that actually was a Jewish dish, fried fish, and it was the Sephardi Jews from Spain and whatever brought it over. It's not an English dish. We don't. What is an English dish?
You boil things until they are
turnips.
They are devoid of any colour or flavour.
I've not. You know, it can't be that bad because you know. So there we go. So the boats are leaving. We're still fishing out there. Jersey's not been invaded, and so we're okay, guys. We're okay. You were going on before about Yahoo and AOL, weren't you?
Well, yeah, I brought it in as a possible story to see what your opinion
Do you know, my
was.
first email account ever was AOL. Mm-hmm. It was. And I thought they'd gone bankrupt ages ago. I thought Yahoo was like just gone.
Yeah, it keeps every few years it gets sold, and as you said, it's probably the same people just moving money around and all that.
I wouldn't be surprised because that's what they do. They've got ownership and money in one corporation. They want to get it out of that, so they buy it from another corporation and use other people's money to get their own money back out. That's probably not true, but that's how I think. I don't trust any of these type of things. Yeah. But what I will say is that it's not. There's a lot of brands out there that have gone defunct, and you can pick them up very, very cheaply. It's like a friend of mine. Do you remember Pye? Pye. They owned record labels, and they were popular in the 70s. They were a massive, big international firm, and they went out of business many years ago. So this guy's bought the name back. So that's got to be worth something, but it costs pennies. It's like with sometimes you get like Woolworths went bankrupt, gone, but the name's got something. So someone brought that name back in 10, 15 years' time when everyone's forgotten it, except for people that remember it, older people. They've got a name that's got ingrained in society. That's
what happened in Australia. Woolworths is massive in Australia,
right?
Like huge. It's like their Sainsbury's or something like that. So it's not just like a little sweet shop. They're massive, big places.
Yeah. Well, they tried it here with Big W, didn't they? But it didn't work. But no, what I'm saying is that if you are looking for a business and you want to brand it, it's not the worst thing to do to scour the internet and look for old companies that went bankrupt years ago, but they're sort of still ingrained in the public consciousness somewhere down the line, and pull them back. Sometimes that can be a good little product brand. And a friend of mine that's done this is not a big company. He only runs a small business, so it's good, and he stick that name, and somewhere people sort of get that. I just thought that was quite an interesting little note to say. We mentioned VAT deferral, didn't we? We did.
Yes,
we mentioned
you did. You jumped right into VAT deferral.
Oh, I'll tell you where I'm going to jump again now. Have you ever Googled your name and see what comes up?
Yes.
So you like Graham Booth. There must be millions of Graham Booths.
There's another guy, and he's a radio DJ, so I've pinned a lot on him just in case.
Well, I don't know if anybody out there ever Googles their name to see who else is called by the same name as you. But being the egotist that I did that as well. And I found there's not thousands of Stephen Englanders, but there's another Stephen Englander. I mean, there's a few, but there's one in particular in New York who was actually at one point head of Citibank. And he wears glasses, he's got dark hair, and I don't think he's quite as good looking as me, but we've got the same name. So I contacted him, and because he's a very influential person, so I thought, why not? And he's trying to work out if we're actually related in any way or have any mutual relatives. And I have noticed that I can't find that we're related in any way, but I can see that he knows a few of the members of the family that I've got in New York. I can see on LinkedIn that he does know them. So I'm going to, I mean, he's a big city banker, and I said banker, and we're going to try and get him on the show. So it'll be funny, Stephen Englander interviewing Stephen Englander.
Are we going to challenge him to a duel?
A duel?
Yeah, versus. Let's fight him. We can decide the Stephen.
Why would you even go there, honestly?
Because that's what you do on the internet.
I know you're trying to get... Match. I know he's a much higher ranking than I am.
Take him down?
Yeah, but a much higher ranking Google than I am.
No, he's not now.
But you've been pushing it. This has been your agenda, hasn't it? You want to get us up there.
Hey, try it at home.
Yeah,
type Stephen Englander into Google and look what comes up first.
So you're going to contact him, aren't you, Graham?
Yeah.
And you're going to say...
I'm going to send him a screen grab of the Google search.
But remember,
screw
you've got to watch what you say, because he is quite posh and he's quite educated, and he's a no-nonsense banker.
He's not going to tell me. It's like I'm talking French, and I'm like, "You're right, mate, anyway."
It's not French. Seriously, it's not French. I know you've seen a few French letters, but it's not French.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. But I thought that'd be quite good, wouldn't it?
Do you want to fight my mate Stephen? And be like, "Excuse me."
Yeah, actually, yeah. Do you know you sounded like him then? Say that again in a New York accent.
I can't do a New York accent.
I was there for quite a while. I went to school there for a little while, and I never picked up the accent. I became more English. My sister started speaking with this New York twang, but I became more English.
Oh no, I suck it up like a sponge.
Yeah.
By the time I finished being in America, people didn't believe. I had to show my passport to show I was English.
Oh, okay.
They were like,
Fair enough. What have I got here?
It's true.
We had we
came home.
we had a query from a client before, because what he was doing. If you're watching, here's part of the answer anyway. Sole trader became a limited company that had a van or got a van with the name of the company plastered all over it, but the van's his van, which he bought and paid for. What are you doing? And
I'm working.
I can just see the screen flashing all over the place. So he bought this van. He's got this van. It's already his, and he's become a limited company. And the question is, can he claim any money back from HMRC because he's letting the company use his van and it's got the company's name all over it? The answer is, well, technically, you could rent the van to the company and get a rent for the van. I mean, that's true of all assets that you own. But you'll only get taxed on that through your own self-assessment, so you've not got any great advantage to that. What you could do is you could transfer all the assets to the company and increase your share capital based on the value of the assets. Or you could create a loan account within the company and take it back over time. You could be subject to capital gains, but these are things you do. You're not going to get an advantage. I mean, you can rent it, it'll save national insurance contributions, I suppose. But it's the bigger thing is concentrate on making money in the business. But if you do want the assets transferring to the company, you can do that and create a share capital. Or depending on the size of your business, you might just think, well, who cares? What difference does it make? But if you do, but that's the general idea. You're not going to get any great benefit by claiming some sort of allowance because there isn't any. I hope that answers that. Go on, Graham. So what am I looking at?
We've had a comment from Mark.
Mark, that's my brother, and I'd expect a better question from a Cambridge student, twit. So come back with something intelligent, Mark. Anything else that I've got to answer?
We don't get a lot of engagement, so let's shoot him down. Screw you, Mark.
What do you think of people?
We might as well go for it now.
What do you think of people that don't keep good time? How do you deal with people that are late?
What, like late to finish the show?
Well, you sat there waiting for someone, and they don't turn up or they come late.
It's very frustrating.
What about if you pay someone and they're a member of staff and they come in late constantly? What do you do?
I don't know what you're getting at here. But
no, I'm saying I've sacked people in the past for that. You know.
Well, yeah, of course.
But now I can't take the stress, so I leave it to management.
Kirsty.
But Kirsty, oh yeah, I wouldn't tackle Kirsty.
I'm
there
not
you
messing
go.
with
She's
her.
watching this. That's why I'm saying it and being nice. But I think lateness, especially if I've got an appointment with a client or even with a prospective supplier or anything, and I've committed to that appointment, and then they don't turn up or they're late, I just think it's bad manners.
Well, it's gone weird now, isn't it? They used to say get somewhere 15 minutes before, and
yeah.
Now it's be 15 minutes early for the 15 minutes. Be half an hour.
I don't know. I know if I've got a Zoom meeting with someone who say 10 o'clock, I'm there for 10 o'clock. Especially as you get you get a reminder anyway. I mean, people sometimes can't help it, or things run on. But in this day and age, it's a text.
What was that
message?
What was that fellow we interviewed? The American guy, and the clocks changed, so he was an hour earlier than we were expecting him.
Oh yeah.
What was he called? I can't remember his
Was
name
it the Jester?
No. It was online. He was from Florida or something.
Oh yeah. I do remember.
And he was just sat there, and we were like,
yeah, it was.
It's so early. This is so disrespectful.
I know.
And he was not. He was dead on time.
I know. It's just American time, wasn't it?
Politely waiting for us.
Yeah.
Bless him.
Yeah. So what else have I got now? In progress to our PLC mission to floaters, I've been asked to do a summary of how we would spend investors' money. What do we need it for? And I just want to say before we go that I think it's very important to plan out how much you need to run your business properly. So just be merciless, without cutting corners. And then what you do is you start off saying, I need that, I need that, I need that. And then when you see what it comes to, you can start saying, well, I can probably make do with that. Or maybe that person can do that as well. But I do think it's important to get a budget going and show whatever money you reckon you're coming in, whether it's investment money or it's turnover. If you know you're going to turn over, what am I looking at? The airport is the only place people never seem to be late for. Priorities, Yeah, it's true. I love sitting around in airports, but still getting that idea going of if you know you've got £300,000 a year expected turnover, then look at how you're going to spend it. And that includes what money you need as well. But we can go into that later. That's business planning. And I can see Graham's getting really, really bored. And so I'm going to sign off. We'll just do the quote of the day, and then we'll sign off, won't we?
Okay, if you want, yeah. Okay, 1 second. Sorry, there we go. So this week's quote is, "My own business always bores me to death.
Yeah.
I prefer other people's."
Because you're a nosy son, aren't you? But yeah, I get why that is, because you always think the grass is greener somewhere else. But my thing is that my business is about your business. So I've got to be interested in your business because that's my business. I thought that was good, that spur of the moment. Thank you very much for joining us. Graham, thank you for not pooing on the chair. And I'll see everybody next week. Thank you and good night. But don't forget to sort of subscribe to YouTube so you get warnings, you get alerts.
The podcast as well.
The podcast.
There's a link in the description.
Oh, the link in the description.
Audio version of the show. Download it. Go wherever you want.
Download it. Go where you want with it.
And
and then
that way.
See you next week. Thank you.